That's funny. All right, hold on. Let me switch. Let's do the intro, and we're about to go live. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of The Closing Table. I am your host, James Garman. And we have the host, Daniel White, if he jumps in here soon.
I'm in. Good morning. Sorry about that, my friend. It lagged just a second there. How's everybody doing? Ready for a good week?
I am ready for an amazing week, man. Honestly, I think this week is going to be pretty awesome. We got some dope stuff coming up. Overall, I definitely feel like this week is going to be the week that I knock out a lot of my goals because we got Thanksgiving coming up, and everybody that's waiting and ready to go out and have some great, times with their family, eat some good food. Salute to you. Make sure you stay safe traveling next week. And I personally, I don't really want to go nowhere. My lady want to go to California and do Thanksgiving in California. I really don't want to travel. I don't want to have to deal with people at the airports. Yeah,
I'd
I'm
say
just
if you're gonna travel, man, you better go like I'd go like on Tuesday or something like that. It scares me when people tell me they're traveling the day before. I'm like, it's kind of scary.
yeah, and I'm not quite sure. I think we're going to be there 2 days prior to Thanksgiving. I'm not sure. I think it's 2 days. I really
We
don't know.
normally do a big thing here. We usually have about 20 people here or so,
Okay.
family, friends. Yeah.
So you like hosting? You like hosting?
I do, man. I do. Some therapy that I get. I like cooking. I do.
I
I
love
do
cooking
like.
too. I don't know where and when it happened where men became more of the cooks in the homes. Bernadette, she's a great cook, but I like to cook. I like to go in the kitchen, get in the kitchen, and get a little messy. Now I don't like to clean once I'm done, of course, but I definitely love to cook. And yeah, man, I think I get some therapy out of that as well. So
Well, I mean, I try to get my kids to clean up after we cook. Like try to use that rule. Well, we just cook dinner, you guys clean. But
exactly.
I can tell you they can clean, but it doesn't get wiped down properly, or you find something.
I understand. I totally get it. So when it comes down to that, honestly, it's like do you have like the original stuff like turkey dressing,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all the Thanksgiving. Everybody usually kind of brings a dish or so. We'll normally do a turkey. We'll deep fry a turkey,
Deep
and
fried turkey.
yeah, and then try to bring out a little one or two extra drinks for the grandmother and the mothers so that they can start talking and telling us all their old
Yeah.
stories.
Hey, listen, I
How they
think
how they used to walk up a hill barefooted and back home up a hill barefooted.
and
All those.
how we're so privileged these days,
Yes.
and yeah, I honestly love that's the best part about I think Thanksgiving and family gatherings is that you get those stories. Excuse me, stories that your kids may not be privy to, so they need those they need those moments where they can actually gain value of how far we've come in life. That's why I love like talking to older people, like getting those stories and getting those perspectives because we have to appreciate how far we come in life, man. It's definitely it's definitely been a road of innovations over the last past 4 or 5 generations.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, Thanksgiving is definitely by far my favorite holiday out of all of them. And it's always been that way simply because, you're not worried. I love Christmas and I know kids and all that stuff, and it's great opening gifts and everything, but I feel the majority of the time people feel obligated. Oh my God, Jane's going to buy me a gift. I got to buy a gift. Thanksgiving, it's like, hey guys, you do the same thing at Thanksgiving that you do at Christmas
Christmas, yeah.
without a gift.
Without a gift, yeah. I mean, and this is for me as well. We do something for Thanksgiving. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to do the Christmas thing at home and just keep it family, like just right here. That was in here. So I don't want to have to travel and go somewhere else and like do Christmas and blase blase. I just rather do that at home and let it just be the immediate family that's here and be
Now,
involved.
now you have the boys live in California.
Um, One of them do. One of
Okay.
them. Well, they both moved to Miami. They now both live in Miami. but they still have one still have a house here in Georgia, and the other one still has a house in Cali. But due to the fact that we haven't sold the house in Cali yet, means we're going to go to that house, and just because more of their side of the family is there, so
Yep.
we want to make sure that we can collectively get everybody in the same space. So California is where the Thanksgiving destination is going to be.
Now, did they buy a house next door to Tom Brady or his ex-wife? Because I heard she just bought a house there, right?
No,
Across the
no,
street.
no, not quite yet, man. The real estate in Miami is really plush, like plush. I don't think we're going to the 15, $20 million states right now. We're gonna stay around the 2.5, 3.5 million at the max right now. That's gonna be kind of the max. And again, now that we're speaking about the housing market, I think it's pretty. It's a serious situation right now, and I don't think a lot of people taking it serious how the market is moving. And I heard yesterday in conversation that I think the best thing to do is if you do decide to purchase a home, is don't purchase the home for what it would be worth today. Purchase the home for what it would be worth in the next year or two. So technically, don't go out there and be eager to purchase a home at asking price. Start
Or,
doing your negotiations.
and James, and you can look at it this way as well, right? So, I mean, if you're not a person that's a good saver, right? You can't save money, can't put money in savings account, and honestly, I mean, savings account, the interest you get is crap. So,
Exactly.
you could purchase a house. I think Friday, I think FHA rate was like six. Man, people are going to hate me or post bad, but I think it was like 6.2, 6.63.
We had a drop.
Um, yeah, for FHA, and I think VA was 6.25, stuff like that. You get a buy down. I mean, man, that's a pretty good rate, right, for a year or two. But I think even with the housing market right now, I think it's a great time to buy right now, right? Rents are really high. What are they going to go down? I think they're projecting 1 or 2, maybe 3% over the next year.
And it depends on where you live in too, because we're seeing some places like San Francisco and California talking about a 6% drop.
Yeah.
Because again, they don't want their homeless population to spike either. They don't want to have to put more people out on the streets when they can just pretty much kind of watch where those rent rates or rent hikes or spikes are going up. So overall, I mean, we're definitely seeing a change in our economy, and especially with the Feds recently coming out, and this month being the lowest interest rate hike, and it was like, I think it actually was down like 50 basis points.
Hmm.
So at this point, we're seeing some changes. But one thing I don't want people to get alarmed about is seeing these drops and thinking that it's okay to go back out and start spending money again, which is one of the things we really wanted to focus in on today, is talking about financial literacy, having financial stability, understanding what it means to actually prepare for what's coming. Because I don't think a lot of people understand what is really coming. I know it feels good and it sounds good that we're dropping rates. There's a lot of things happening, but we have to look at the bigger picture of everything that's done happened over the past 6 months. Over the last 6 months, we've seen the Japanese yen fall. They refuse to raise their interest rates, which means at this point that the Japanese monetary value is not worth it. Like it's not. It's almost useless. So people are swapping their yens for the U.S. dollar because they can get 3 times the amount of money, on their interest once they're loaning it out. So it makes no sense to invest in the yen right now. So when it comes to Russia and what's going on over there, not being able to sell their oil right now to the capacity in which they were selling it a year or two ago. Now we have the war still being active.
Yeah.
Then you have China, whose real estate economy is fucking flatlined. I mean, I don't know what they was thinking with that real estate bubble they've built over there. Like, I don't know. Have you really seen what happened over there? Like, and this is something that I've been thinking about for a while as well, because what I see is that people don't look at everything on the macro scale. We only look at the micro. We only look at the things that are happening right in front of
Right now.
us.
Right now.
So we have to start looking at the broader scale of our economy and the world economy, because people need to understand what could be possibly coming in the future.
James, don't you think it's kind of hard? What you just said right now, right? Like if you just look at the way that it is right now, the last 12 months and where we are, and you see some pretty things, you see some ugly things. When do you think at some point in your life, like if a young person is listening right now, they're just starting out, you try to give them advice and tell them, hey, pay attention to this, pay attention to this. If I look at the last 20 years in that time frame and how everything moves along and where we are now, it's like a big circle. It cycles
It's a
back
cycle.
through
Yes. Hmm.
bad, good, okay. I think it's tough for a young person, and I'm just speaking for my kids, right?
Hmm.
Um, when is it that it clicks? Like, when did it click for you to stop looking at what's on the screen today and what the past provides us?
For me, it started. To be totally honest, I think it started maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Totally honest. That's being as honest as I can be. I've always been the guy who wanted to live in a moment. Didn't really care about how the future panned out. It's the moment for me. I'm a Libra. I'm a
Yeah.
Libra. So
All
for
right.
me, it's like I'm comfortable in my mind that hey, everything works out. Everything is going to work out. It's going to be fine, and not take too much of because I've been through some things. You've been through some things.
Yep.
So not to take everything that happens on the chin as a end all be all. It's just something that happens. We'll make it through. But now that I've become more financial, like I said, savvy with my own finances as I get more finances coming in, with our business ventures and everything, then it starts to make sense to me on why you need to understand the peaks and valleys of your finances and the world economy because there's opportunities in every single point of life where we can actually take what we think is a bad situation and find the positive in it. So,
Yep.
and again, it may sound crappy that your people would say or even hint to the notion that, hey, how can you take advantage of people going broke or not making money or losing their pensions? Well, it's not taking advantage. It's called smart money. It's called being educated on knowing where to put your money and how to double it. Because if you go to a casino, there's two ways to win money, right? You can bet with the house or you can bet against it. No one's stopping anybody from betting with the house. The house always win. If you ask me, you bet with the house long enough, somebody's going to get on a streak of losing everything they got. So on that
They have
basis,
commercials now. Like if you have gambling addictions and problems all over TV and billboards down like next to the casino, it's crazy.
it's honestly. So like for me, it's like you have to understand if you're not financial savvy right now, it's okay. You're young, you don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge. But the thing about this great day and age, we have the internet. The internet give us everything we need to know. So there's no excuse. For
Good
me,
and bad.
right, good and bad. So for me, I did have an excuse to an extent. I lived in the hood. I lived in the projects. I lived in dilapidated buildings. For me, and public transportation, all of that stuff was not there. So for me to get to the library as often as I probably should have wasn't a thing for me. So I had to learn as I could, get the knowledge as I could. And I recommend that more individuals, and especially more millennials or Generation Ys, whatever they're calling themselves these days, dive deeper into that financial bracket. And I think they are. I think there's more young
Yeah.
investors today than there has ever been.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look on YouTube and all of that stuff and you see these guys and girls that are on there that are much younger than, I'm saying they're in their late 20s, maybe early 30s. And, they're talking about investing and cryptocurrency and all of that stuff and buying houses and flipping houses.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, but it's also scary as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like myself, like I try to have a conversation with, both of my kids about it. I'm like, only invest what you can invest and always look at it as, that you could potentially lose it. So once you put it in there, don't look at it like, hey, you need it, right?
Exactly.
You don't want to go back and take it out just let it over time, right? What they say, like with your 401k, your IRAs and stuff, over time, over 10, 15, 20 years, the average return is what, like 11%, 12%, something like that.
Yeah. And,
Um,
and and again, speaking about 401ks and IRAs, I think what a lot of people fail to realize about 401ks is that during the Industrial Revolution, that made sense. That helped the economy, but I don't think it makes sense today. I don't think it makes sense in our day and time because we're no longer in the Industrial Revolution. We're in the tech revolution.
yep.
So with that being said, it's like people are working and making way more money that putting their money in a business, a 401k for the company to be able to reinvest your money for you doesn't just really suit the narrative of where we are today. I think that whole structure needs to be revamped, because again, factory work isn't factory work like it used to be.
Financial financial advisor, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I think everybody should have a conversation.
With one. Hmm.
If not, we had one on Thursday, right?
Yep.
Brought to our meeting. It was fantastic to hear somebody talk about, you know, ways potentially to invest, how to protect you, how to protect your family, right? If something
Exactly.
happens to you. So I think speaking to a financial advisor, whether it's once a year or once every 2 years or so, I think every household should do that. I think every young person, I know it sounds crazy. You're like, man, as a young person, you're probably looking at it as like, I don't want to take advice from somebody else. I had to listen to my parents and all that stuff. But
Right.
it is important to do that because, again, you're investing. What's more important than you? Nobody,
No,
right?
exactly.
If you don't care about yourself and put yourself first, you're going to be in trouble,
And
right?
again, I think it may be a little harder to explain this to a lot of people because again, if we're speaking to older generations of people, talking to them about financial advisement, if they've only had a 9 to 5 job their whole life and they're comfortable making what they make, they know where their money is going. They know where to put their money. They know what bills needs to be paid. But I don't think they prepare for things like inflation. They don't prepare for things that can happen long term, that can take a super that can make a super huge impact on their lifelong, savings. Like we talked about this, I think the first episode, what it took 20 years ago for a person to retire has now pretty much tripled.
Yeah.
20
Oh,
years,
yeah.
yeah, 20 years ago, you probably could have retired off 250,000. Now you need closer to a million, 1.1 million to actually retire comfortably. And that's not even factual. Actually, I think you may need more closer to 2.5 million. How there's so much money in our economy today that it's so easy to make money. Like just for an example, right now there's more 18 and 19-year-olds making multi-million dollars, not weekly, but daily. They are making this type of money daily.
Yeah.
So we have to realize that if that amount of money is being pumped into our society and there's more people that are able to afford more expensive luxury real estate, everything under that brand of luxury, we are now headed into a place where money doesn't hold the same value. That's why we need inflation. That's why we need interest rates. That's why we need these spikes to try to save the middle class. Because if the rich is rich, then you have to be rich. There's nothing below that. You're poor or
Correct.
rich. So we need inflation. We need these things to happen. We need more of our older generation or 45s and 50-year-olds and up to understand financial advisement is okay. Understanding how to where to put your money and how to spend your money is okay. Get into it. Talk to somebody.
100%. Yep. So if we're talking to a financial advisor, where would we go? Gold, silver? What are we looking at, James?
Well, for me, right now, we can talk about the gold standard.
Yep.
The money, our dollar used to be backed by the gold standard with the gold. Back in 1930, 1900s, 1930, I think it was Nixon. Nixon took no, not Nixon. It was Roosevelt put us on the gold standard. That's when they went around and took everybody's gold, put it in the Federal Reserve, and our money was backed by the gold standard because of the Vietnam War and everything that was happening during that time. printing more money was necessary, but the only way we could
Yep.
print more money was if it was backed by something. Now, in 1971, Nixon ended up taking us off of the gold standard, and we began to print more money. That's when we started we started depending on the credit structure of crediting people more money. The more money we can credit is now we have the opportunity to gain that interest back to pay ourselves. But now that we are in this situation where the inflation and Federal Reserve has dumped so much money into the economy, right now I think they're planning to start burning up to 13% of our reserve funds a year. So literally, you're talking about $95 billion a year. I mean, easy. I mean, a month. $95 billion a month is what they're planning on burning just to stop so much money from going into the economy. Now, with inflation, you also have to realize that there's going to be less money in your pocket. But where do you put that money? For me, gold, silver, and natural resources, things that can actually carry value. You want to put your money into things that the government can't print. The government can't print gold. The government can't print silver. The government can't print cows and horses and cattle and any type of farm elements. The government can't print different minerals. They don't have that control because those things are natural resources. Natural resources are going to come back and they're going to hold more value than a dollar. But I do recommend, I'm not saying you should save your money, but I am big on saying right now it's better to have cash on you versus stocks. I wouldn't put my money in stocks right now. I wouldn't put my money in crypto. And now that we're talking about that just for a second, what just happened with FTX just 4 days ago is astonishing. Right. It's astonishing.
But 16 billion to I don't even know where he's at now. I mean, that's nuts, right?
Yeah,
that's a really bad day.
Did you invest into any cryptos during this past year and a half too?
I did before, probably a little over, probably about 2 years ago or so. It got exciting and you see that you're making a little bit of money and you're like, okay, just sit it in there. And now it's just a weight gain, right?
Yeah.
I'm not huge on it, right? Because it's always kind of scary because it's not, it's not protected.
It's not backed by anything.
It's not regulated.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little scary. So, I mean, I didn't put everything in there, but absolutely, man. I mean, it was, I think when I bought into it, I think it was like 10 grand.
Bitcoin?
I think it was like 10 grand.
Okay.
Again, it went up to 60. You're excited. You're like, man, you're making some good money. And then I don't know, it's at like 19 now.
17.
At this point,
17.
Just sit there.
Yeah, over the past 9 months, it's dropped 75%. Down 75%. And again, I got heavy into the crypto during the whole COVID situation. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that word. I don't want to get us banned. And before I move on to that, hey, again, welcome everybody to the chat. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell. Please hit the like button because that definitely helps us get into the YouTube algorithm and we can start to reach more people. So if you're in here right now, I think we may be up to like nine people.
Yep.
Please, everybody, hit that like button for us. If there's 9 people in here, we should have at least 9 likes, and that would definitely help us in this channel grow. If you like the content, please drop a comment in the comment section. Join the conversation because we love to get feedback from everybody. Speaking of that, B. Walker says these kids can retire at 30 if they know how to make money online. You only need a large amount if you're an average worker, but soon everyone is going to have to know computers to survive. And I agree with that. Hey, good morning, Gun Show. I totally agree with that. You're definitely going to need to be tech savvy. If you're not tech savvy, you gotta get your skills up in some form or fashion. So
no, absolutely. You have to. I mean, you need to know something, right? Because there are too many scammers out there. Like if you just say, I'm not going to even worry about a computer, I'm not going to do that. I'm thinking you're just waiting for that phone call or you're just waiting to do something wrong on your phone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my grandmother's 85 years old. I don't think she's going to change in her ways.
Right. That's
But,
totally different. Yeah.
but
If you're in 30, you're in your late 30s, early 40s, you better go take some damn tech classes.
yeah, exactly, man. You better do something. Like, it would be a little scary if you're in your 30s, early 40s right now and not knowing something about computers and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
feel
back,
you.
but yeah, back to what we were saying about FTX. FTX was the second biggest crypto exchange on the planet. Now, again, there's a lot of people out here promoting all these cryptos. They're out here promoting all these NFTs. They're promoting so many different things, but not understanding the full.
I didn't understand the NFTs.
I still don't understand the NFTs. Not
Okay.
that I bought a few. I still have a few, but it's not like I went out and spent thousands of dollars on them. I actually, during COVID, I actually did pretty well on the crypto side. I think I made I think on a $900 investment with Shiba Inu, I made around 14K pulled. And I was a day trader. I still am today. I put in some money today and take it out by the end of the day. Let my money go up. Take my profits. And I don't like to hold stocks long for long terms.
And, on the day trading, do you give yourself a goal? Like if you say, okay, if I make, like if you go to a casino, they say if you double your money, you should walk away.
You should walk away. Mm-hmm.
Right. So do you have a set number that you're like, okay, if I make 20% or if I make 30% of my money, I'm out?
It's roughly around. It's even lower than that. It's roughly around the 10 to 12% return.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 to 12%
Okay.
return. Because at the end of the day, it's like if you can do that every day, then how are you losing? How are you losing if you can return 10 to 12% daily? So a lot of people want the big gains. And when I first got into it, I was a huge victim of trying to squeeze as much as I can because it's just like it can keep going up. It can keep going up. But at the end of the day, it's like what was the point of going up an extra $100-$200 when I waited too long and then I walk away from my phone or my computer and next thing I know I'm come back, I'm down $1,200. So yeah, I mean at the end, when in the scope of everything, you have to take your profits and run. When people believe too much, I think the thing about people is they get too caught up in believing something too much, especially the people that get in late. If you got into crypto 4 or 5 years ago and you've been letting your money sit there when it was under a penny, then that makes sense. You can hold that shit as long as you want.
Correct.
You can hold it as long as you want. But if you're riding the hype or you're riding the wave of saying, hey, I'm hearing everybody's talking about it. When everybody's talking about it is when you don't want to be in it.
Yeah, you don't want to be in. You want to catch that wave before that.
But you see, and a person who can catch a wave before there it's being talked about is a person that knows how to be savvy with their finances. They have their ear to the streets. They have their ear to the financial streets. They know what is being whispered, not yelled. If it's being yelled, then guess what? You're too late. But if it's being whispered and on a few people know about it and they hear about it, you at a good starting point. It comes down to any investor, any investment that you make, right? Let's talk about a startup. Startup companies, there's 100 of them coming every day. Everybody's just doing a startup. Hey, I got 3 startups. I'm shopping now, So I believe in my company. People can believe in my companies as well. But when it comes down to it, it's like how many people are talking about it. If there's a lot of people talking about it, and I've already made on my first round of seed money, people already invested 200 or 300 million. Well, guess what? If you're now just trying to get in, you're going to get a smaller piece of that pie and probably have to wait longer to get that payout. But if you started when I first started talking about it and said, you know what, I believe in what you're doing, I'm going to give you this $500. That $500 can turn to $5 million, So being early to any game, no matter what you're trying to invest in, comes with you doing your due diligence, doing your research. And a lot of people don't do their research.
They don't. And I will tell you, what was it, last weekend that I went to that business convention?
Uh-huh.
I think that's a great starting point for a lot of people that are thinking about investing into businesses. Now, there are some businesses that are currently already established. They're just looking for investors to help them with new startup businesses and stuff. But there were actual businesses there that haven't even hit the ground yet.
Right.
Which that was exciting, right? Like I love those business owners, the young minds, older minds, and the way they come.
Those penny stocks.
I love going to them because you can see the excitement, the
Hmm.
sweat, and the beads coming off of their forehead as they're trying to pitch you their company. Whereas the other ones are like, oh, I've made it. I'm doing all of this, and here, take my card, check it out. And it's like, and that's not what I want. I
Right.
want that excitement. I want to see some fire and where you're going to take it. You're going to be the next best thing, right? So uh, that was really really exciting. Going back to where you were talking, James, about the uh, finances and the crypto and investing and all that stuff. Uh, a lot of times, even with the day trading, and I love what Ms. Walker said: the day trader equals gambler. That's pretty
Yes,
funny.
that
Yeah,
is facts. That is we
it
yeah
is.
we
It is.
gamble. Yes.
Um, a lot of people want to go out there and hit a home run, right? They want to go and hit a home run. I would rather be the guy at the plate that's hitting doubles every time, right? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna swing and you're gonna miss.
Right.
If I can just stay consistent with it, and like you said, if I can make 10, 12% over 5 days, I mean, you're doing something pretty darn good.
You're
It's
doing
pretty
something good.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to again financial literacy, just for an example, the younger generation, their whole thing is to be out of debt. We have this new parallel where that people or younger generations don't want to be like their parents. They don't want to have massive credit card debt. They don't want to have massive, car leases, and they don't want to have these things over their head. The biggest thing they want to have is their mortgage, which makes sense. Your mortgage, that's it. You want your cars paid off. You want all these things paid off. You don't want to hold any credit card debt. I totally get it. There's two types of debt. There's two good types of debt to have: mortgage debt and business debt. The thing about the difference is that everybody should be leaning more towards mortgage and business debt. We should be creating more trust. We should be creating more businesses. We should not just to shell your money, not just to shell it, but to actually be focusing on the bootstrap, independent, young minds who have great ideas. We need more brick and mortars coming about. There's a lot of people don't want to work. I mean, they don't want to actually go to work and have a building or actual place where they go every day. But we should be focused more on building real businesses. There should be more independent or independently owned businesses. Not saying at some point you can, expand to become a franchise, but we need more young, brilliant minds to become more business minded, which means if you can gain more business debt and start to use that business debt to furnish things you need, because a lot of people think using their own money, they think bootstrapping is using all of their money, all of their personal funds to build a business, when you shouldn't. You should be using loans. You should be using business loans to fund your business, to get your business to that next level. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Also, you want to make sure you're doing these things without putting your personal guarantee. Not to say that you're looking for a way out if you run your business into the ground, but you can survive. It's easier to survive when you're not using your personal guarantees to run these businesses or get these loans. Right now, if you look at what's going on in society, yes, it's harder to get personal loans. The interest rates on personal loans are massive. But if you look at the business side of things, businesses can still get these loans for way cheaper on interest rates, way lower interest rates than people who are trying to get personal loans.
I agree with the mortgage and the business loans. The one thing that scares me, James, is with our younger generation. Again, and when I say the younger generation, I'm always just thinking of my kids, right? And I don't want to upset anybody or think that I know everything, because I don't. But it, I see it, like when they see something like Tesla, like my daughter, her boyfriend, my son, they
Mm-hmm.
all want Teslas. And I'm like, you want a Tesla, and right now you're not, like, it drives me crazy that somebody wants to go and purchase a 60 or $80,000 car and they
Mm-hmm.
don't make 60 or eighty thousand
$80,000.
dollars a year.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? Like, I would say, take that money. If you want that money and you can afford that payment,
Sure.
put it in gold or silver, or maybe look at an investment opportunity. Look at these other companies out there that allow you to be a passive investor, right?
Exactly.
Deposit $5,000, $10,000, let them do all of the work on their end and help get some money. But yeah, it really drives me crazy when I see somebody, you know, that's has a 60, 70, $80,000 vehicle and they're making 30 or
A
$40,000.
year. Yeah, it makes no sense. Honestly, I'd rather drive I'll go give me an old school Pinto or something and drive that around as long as I can get from point A to point B. So me and the beautiful lady of mine, we had a client yesterday that we went to. We had a listing appointment yesterday. Young couple, had to be in every bit of 23, 24. One is a cop, other one is a school teacher. They make pretty decent. They make pretty decent money. He's a retired vet at 23, 24. It's amazing to me, but yeah, 100% gets his his benefits. But again, they're in this conundrum where they feel as if they don't make enough money to do what they want to do. I'm like, it's more than enough money. They only got one child, newborn, but they make more than enough money to actually live a great life. But the lack of responsible spending, and you can tell by looking at everything they have, but the lack of responsible spending is what puts people in a position to have to sacrifice. And you shouldn't have to sacrifice in your life. You should never have to get to a point where you have to sacrifice something that you want or need. You should be able to frequently and fluently go out and get whatever you think you need for your survival. But
Yep.
walking through their house, they have a lot of stuff. So after they sell their home, they're going to walk away with about $80,000 profit. Only have their house for 2 years and already got $80,000 in equity once they sell it.
Yeah.
But the goal, and we had this conversation, and I had to go at them sort of like at the financial advisor. It's like I had to be on my Dave Ramsey, So
You wore a tie?
yeah, no, I didn't wear a tie yesterday. Actually, I didn't. I was more casual like this.
Sunday. It's
Yeah,
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
but they were saying once they got the money from selling their home, they wanted to pay off both of their cars and put down a bigger down payment on their house. And I had to break it down to them like, listen, we're headed into a financial disruption of our economy. One thing you don't want to do is be cash restricted. You don't want to be strict of having cash in your reserves. I'm not saying put it in a bank or a savings. If you want to, sure, put it in your floorboard. I don't care where you put it, but
Yep.
don't dump your money in paying off a car. Don't dump that car could break down. That car can break down next week. After whatever you can wreck it. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, don't put all of your funds into one place. Don't put all your money into paying off your vehicles. Don't put all your money into paying off your credit card debts. Don't put all your money into paying off certain things. Keep your money in your reserve right now because you're going to need it. Where we headed right now in our economy, you're going to need it because people don't realize things are not going to get cheaper. Things are going to slightly get higher and more expensive. Inflation is real. Like, it's real.
James, what you're hitting it on a button. Like when I've talked with people and they're like, "Yeah, we just refinanced. We got this great rate. We took care and we paid off our car loans and all that stuff." And I'm like, you've got a 30, 40, $50,000 car loan you refinance.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, great. I'm sure it puts a little more money in your pocket. I'm like, but you just now finance that vehicle over 10 years,
Yep.
15 years, right? I mean, whatever the average is, or you're trying to stay in your home instead of having it being debt free in 5 or 6 years. I don't know. They may
Right.
even do 7-year loans
Mm-hmm.
now. I don't know. I don't. I'm keeping my cars because I have young kids and it's pretty expensive on the insurance side
Right.
right now. So, a $40,000-$50,000 car is not in my window right now just because of the kids.
If you're literally not making 300,000 a year after taxes, you shouldn't be buying $40,000 cars. And if you do, you should be paying cash for them. Like 30, if I'm making 300,000, I'm paying cash for that $30,000 car. I'm gonna just go ahead and get that out the way because holding net debt plus insurance debt on a $40,000 car is just going to be too crazy. Now, if you're telling me your house isn't paid for, and I mean, if your house is paid for and you have, you want a $30,000, $40,000 car, sure, go ahead and make payments on that. That's fine. That's not. But understanding where and how you should put your money and where it should go first is not a $30,000, $40,000 car, unless you're using that car to make you more money. And there's plenty of ways to do that. There's Turo. You can rent your cars out on Turo. I'm a fan of that. I do the same thing. You know, you can Uber in your days off or your spare time if that's what you feel like you need to do to have a luxury car. Like, but use your car to make you money. And also, you could buy that car with your business. If you start a business, you can buy that car with your business. So these things can also be tax write-offs, you know. Again, there are plenty of ways to make real money in this economy. A lot of people are going to be afraid to because, again, they're cash stricken and they're going to have to understand if you really want to put your money in the places that it need to be, right now it's under your damn bed, and hopefully you don't get caught in a fire. So have some have some home insurance, you know, on stuff like that. So I'm just stating this is not the time to be spending recklessly.
No, definitely not. And I think everybody needs to go and do their homework and educate themselves and look at the history, because the history in some way, shape, or form, it repeats itself. And you know, it's important, you know,
It definitely is.
to pay attention to that stuff. So,
And listen, we have 12 people in here right now, and I appreciate everybody that's coming in, checking out the podcast. Can you please hit the like button when you come in, just to show a little love to the channel? And again, it helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and we would definitely appreciate it. So back to what we were stating earlier, we actually off camera, we was talking about the Democrats and Republicans, and I did some research, and it seems to me that the economy does better when there's a split house, when there's, you know, when the house
one has a Senate and then the other one has the House.
Yeah, you know, when there's a 50-50 in it, you know, versus there's been everything's Republican or everything's Democrat. The reason for this is because it's stated that not much change because it's hard to get things passed through. But when you have, you know, when everything is pretty much Republican or just pretty much Democrat, it's easier for Democrats to just push whatever their agendas through because, you know, everybody's going to vote with it versus the opposite. So
I think they all hate each other.
I mean, do they really though? I mean, do they really hate each other? And now that we're speaking right now about the government, I know the FTX situation had a lot to do, from what I'm hearing. This is speculation. I don't know. I got to do my research on it. But it's been said that the Ukraine war had a lot to do with a lot of money funneling through the FTX system, because I don't know, again, it doesn't matter what my political views are, but they're saying
there was a loot, right?
There was a loot.
And they take like $600 million or something like
more
that.
than that. Biden has pushed over $60 billion through that Ukrainian war since February or March of this year. It started off with $2 billion, then he gave another $600 million in March. February was $2 billion, March it was $600 million, and then to this date they're saying it's been over $61 million that's been pushed through Ukraine, and Ukraine has also taken all of that money, pushed it through FTX, and FTX has turned around and used those same funds for campaign donations. So it's a huge situation that could be happening right here, and I'm pretty sure in the next year or two we'll start seeing a lot of people getting prosecuted for maybe some of these actions. Hopefully it wasn't that. Maybe they, maybe it wasn't as what it seems. That's what I'm hoping. But we never know. Like, we never know where the tax dollars are going sometimes when they were just shipping this money, wherever it's going. But allegedly that's what's going on. So well,
I just hope, like with the whole Enron thing and everything, I hope these CEOs and executives don't get paid out again if something happens, because I think people are going to lose their mind if that happens again, right? They cause a crash and then they get bought out and they get whatever their severance.
Well,
people were losing their IRAs
and everything, man. Yeah, homes. Right. So at this at this point, they're saying Binance US on Binance is also another crypto platform. They're saying Binance should buy FTX. They're hoping that Binance buys FTX to try to save some of the little men, from
Yeah.
losing everything. But I think at this point, man, that money is gone. That money is shit, like down the fucking drain. That's what I'm thinking.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah, no, you got to research. You got to be smart. You got to figure things out. Like, right, if you're there right now and you're like, hey, man, this is a loss. Okay, I got to chalk this one up, and I gotta move forward.
But you
Right.
got to realize people put their life savings in this stuff, man. Like, there's too many scam artists out here for me to want to trust anybody with that amount of money. I can't trust anybody with that amount of money. I don't even want to trust my banks with that amount of money because they like to just loan your money out to people without vetting them. Like,
Correct.
just loan that money out, and the only thing you're covered for is 100,000. I mean, like, I got millions. Like, where do you put billions of dollars? Where do you
Yeah.
move billions of dollars that is gonna be safe? Well, I can tell you, gold and silver, natural elements. I heard today, ever since Biden cut off the oil supply from Canada to what is it, Colorado, wherever it goes, wherever since
Pipeline or
yeah, the
whatever.
pipeline.
Uh-huh.
Ever since he cut off that pipeline, oil by the barrel went from $30 to $160 a barrel. This is why a lot of people don't realize. Don't put your money into oil stocks. Put your money into actual barrels of oil. Like, you can literally go and buy barrels of oil. $130 for a barrel. You
Well,
buy a couple of them.
in March, though, in March 2020, it was a good investment because it
Yeah.
was $20.
Yeah.
We're giving 2-for-1s.
Yep.
If you put your money in oil where it's at now, you made money.
Yep. Made plenty of it.
Yeah, you made plenty of money.
So, I mean,
I'm still driving a Kia though, but
but listen, if we're going where we're going, and if that's electric, which I don't think we're ready for electric yet. I can't go far enough in an electric car. Like, we had a Tesla, we got rid of. We had a Model X, beautiful car, love the car. The car drove amazing, But at the end of the day, I didn't have time to sit at a charging station for 45 minutes every 3 hours.
Is that what it takes? 45 minutes to charge? They got to be working on that. That's got to be quicker now.
I mean, they have these things that the superchargers, where at some point the superchargers got better, where they would say it'll give you a certain distance in 25 miles. But I personally feel like that's an illusion, because where it gets you in that 25 minutes is like 200 something miles. It's technically still like 95 to 100, because the car uses all of that electricity to do everything, the lights, the radio. So for me, it's like 200 miles is really only 90.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't ever get my mind wrapped around having to stop. And again, if you really want a full charge, you're still going to be there for 40 minutes. My thing is bigger batteries.
Well, I will tell you, man. I mean, now every single brand new gas station that's being built has these charging stations. So obviously, it's coming.
Yeah, it's
right?
coming. Yeah.
It's and I think if the oil prices continue to rise, right? I mean, at some point people are gonna be like, I'm done. I think people now, compared to say 5 years ago, now go to a dealership and actually look at that and actually are talking like, okay, do I buy this gas car? I really like it, but this here is gonna save me X amount of dollars. It's a little bit more pricey maybe at the moment, but
What you like? What you like? What you like better? You like your time or you like your money? What is it? Which one? I like my time better.
yeah,
Like, I can sit in a Tesla for 45 minutes and try to do some work, but more than likely I'm going to be scrolling Facebook or Instagram or some shit like that, waiting for the charge. It's nothing like going to a gas station, pumping that damn thing up in 3 to 4 minutes, and getting on down the road where you need to be. Because I'm at the point now with my life where, finance wise, I don't want to waste time. I don't even like being stuck in traffic. I have express tolls that I just get on express and I'm zooming. Like, I literally didn't realize how having money could be so beneficial. Having a little money could be so beneficial, bro. Like, I'm literally on the expressway looking at those people like, wow, you really gonna sit there? Like, your time is, I can't do it, bro. I gotta get it. I gotta keep it moving, bro. So
I like it. I like it. You're at the point now where time is money.
time is money.
Yep.
Right? We're not getting younger, man. And
Yeah.
think about all the time you spend in traffic, that extra 30 minutes you spend in traffic. That's 30 minutes of your life. I need
Yep.
to get to my destination. I need when they bring out the teleportation devices and I can teleport to wherever I'm gonna be one of the first people to be on it. Be
Yeah,
one of the
James,
first.
you're right, man. Like, not just talking about driving the cars and time and all that stuff. Like, I can't listen to negative talk
Oh no,
because I think in my head, I'm like, that was 20 minutes that I'm never ever getting back.
never getting back.
And it didn't do anything, right? You're probably not going to take my advice anyways. So why are you trying to even talk to me about this stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
You've
So
already got it made up in your mind what you're going to do. So
I literally can't have conversations with people that don't relate to the things that are going to progress not just me but our economy, our society, because that's what it's about. You
yeah,
can't just be stuck in your own world where the things that you're talking about is just surface level stuff. Now don't get me wrong, everything doesn't have to be business. I can have conversations about pretty much anything. I'm very broad in my conversations and the way I deliver my intellect, but overall I'm looking at it like, why sit here and have a 40-minute conversation or 40-minute debate on who's the best football player or who's the best basketball player? Like, I can't talk about those things because it doesn't benefit me having that type of knowledge, or like those people have done what they've done. You celebrate them for what they have accomplished, but I can't sit around in a personal conversation. Like me and you talked yesterday about football for maybe 2 minutes.
yeah, yep.
I made a statement of, hey man, Tampa Bay really need to do something here. They got Julio Jones sitting on the bench and he's not really making anything happen. But if they did, maybe they'll win a game. And look what happened. I give you that. I actually spoke that into existence for you.
Yeah. A win is a win, man.
A win is a win.
1.6 points. I don't mind.
Hey,
Win is win.
but overall, like though, I can have those type of conversations. I can hint on being that type of person that can deliver some type of communicative conversation. I'm gonna call it communicative conversation because that's pretty much what our community is based off of, just small talk. I can have small talk. I'm not a person that's always focused on business. I can have relationship talk. I can have just what they call it, I forgot, like when you just talk about movies and little stuff like that. I can have those conversations. I'm in depth with reality and what's going on in our everyday society, but I can't sit around and talk about those things for hours on end. I'm like, where is this conversation going? Like, I'd rather read a book or listen to a podcast.
Yeah. I think our younger generation needs to do more of that, more of reading a book, listening to the podcast and just really just educating again themselves.
Exactly.
Better. I mean, again, we all say it, we've heard it, man. I wish I could go back 20 years now and know what I know now, right? Be a whole
hindsight is 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. We would not be sitting in our houses right now, James.
Don't think about hindsight anymore. Think about forecasting. What is the forecast? What is the 2020 forecast? Being able to see the almanac, looking at an almanac, knowing what the financial almanac looks like, and being able to prepare for those moments that are going to come back. They always come back. And be able to take those moments and capitalize on them. Again, this is not a capitalism. We're not in capitalism anymore. We in creditism. It's creditism what we're in, using credit. Everybody's using credit. This is no longer a capitalist state or a capitalist construct that we're in. We're in creditism state where we have to use credit wisely. And like I said, using credit for your mortgage and credit for your business is the way to go.
Yep. James, I know we're coming to an end here really quick soon, but I need you to. I saw this little plug. What is this thing going on with you and the lovely wife there in a movie that's going on? Like, what is this?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna let you off the hook. You did not tell me you're a movie star, my friend.
Oh man, yeah, just groundbreaking movie stars we are. We played so a friend of mine that when I was involved heavily into the music business, I met a lot of good people, and one of the guys that I did some music with decided that he wanted to get involved in movie making, directing, script writing, things of that nature. And the thing about me, you already know, I like to evolve myself. I like to dabble in different, constructs of reality of my life. And Jeff Bezos done it. Jeff Bezos one of his lifelong dreams was to be in a Star Trek movie, Star Trek or Star Wars, but he played in a Star Trek movie. So for me, I always wanted to be involved in different parts of the industry because I'm very creative. I'm a Libra. So again, I like to expound on my creativity. So he wrote a script. I wrote a script. We actually swapped scripts out and we read each other's scripts, and we both had some good concepts. And he was more driven to get his done that he actually financed his own movie. So it's an independent film, but it's a movie called Out on a Limb. It's a movie about a guy who was in jail, who couldn't pretty much get his life right and had to go back to selling drugs. Me and the lovely wife, we got to play in the movie. He asked us to be in it, for support. I play an FBI agent, sniper. I play an FBI sniper. She plays a FBI ground enforcement, and, we just had a small scene, but it was fun. It was fun being on set, and I had one line. She didn't have any lines in this one, but Bernadette, she's done some background work in a couple of Lifetime movies and stuff like that. So she's definitely, she got the acting bug way more than me, and I'm pretty sure she'll do something huge in the future.
Nice. I love it, man. Well, I will tell you, the Monday evening movie is going to be this. The wife and I already discussed. It was our anniversary this weekend, so we couldn't do very much, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't be watching movies. Like last night, it was like, it's 9:15. It's time to go to bed. I got to meet James at 4:15 in the morning.
Got you.
But it is on the radar to watch. So I will report back how the acting for James went.
Yeah, it's not the best, but I think I did a great job. But overall,
he's already downplaying it.
Oh man, being humble, man, because I don't want to give you too much expectation. So when you do report back, you was like, that was really good. Oh yeah, I appreciate it. So, but yeah, so listen, another great conversation, another great podcast. I must say, thank you everyone for tuning in. We had a lot of great viewers. We had a lot of great conversation in the chat today. I appreciate everybody for supporting the channel. Again, hit that like button, hit that share button, and subscribe button, and bell to support the channel further. Other than that, Daniel, again, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you as always, James. Thank you everybody for tuning in and placing those chats there. We absolutely love you all, and I hope everybody kills it this week. Go buy a little gold.
It sounds good to me. Until next time, everybody, this was The Closing Table, and we hope you have a great one.